Everyone's looking at Stephen Lawrence murder case, right? Now this is one of the biggest Psy-Ops going, right? And as you see, new suspect 30 years on. This is basically from 2 years ago, right? And so had the initial sort of the ones that was supposedly charged, right? They were released and all this, right? And then coming up with a new suspect 30 years later. Right? This is the one, right? And this was quite a big psyop because actually it resulted in a lot of obviously a lot of demonising of the white man and the sort of the ethnic natives of Britain, right? In order to incorporate the newcomers type idea within the society, right? That's obviously the main purpose. But it also resulted in Doreen Lawrence, as they're called, becoming a baron in the House of Lords, right? Which is totally against Magna Carta, right? So it actually affected Magna Carta law, right? So it wasn't just something which they just done for a laugh, it's something which actually had effects upon Magna Carta law, right? Which is quite big, seriously. Now as you see here, right, 30 years, there's your 3 and there's your 6, right? So you got your 3 and your 6, which is your 666 code and that, right? Now as you see here, this is the suspect, right? To me that looks like Ray Winston. First thing I think of is that's the Ray Winston type idea, right? Again, this could be a digital image. Like a sort of, you know, they've taken in a picture of Ray Winston doing a hard man actually. Stuck it in one of those digital photo workshops or whatever. And just obviously, you know, manipulated it a bit. And straight away that's what I get from that. Right? But guess what the name is, right? Guess what the name of the new suspect is, right?
Reported 20 years for them to talk to a relative of White who's reported his presence.
Right, so this is White. Right? The new suspect after 30 years is White. So, you know, I mean, obviously, you couldn't get more obvious, right? It's Psy-Op. It looks like Ray Winston with a scum or something, you know what I mean? Look at the, notice the baggy shirt, right? The loose fitting shirt type of thing, right? Might be White, right? And even the paedophile idea, you know, which you see now, you know, massively as a paedophile. So he was a pedo and a white, you know, who killed this poor lovely, you know, imported man type of thing, you know. Sort of, you know, like the smiling face and the nasty, you know? And Masonic black and white. And the colours of green, like as in native, right? Again, pictured in front of trees. You know, like the demonised nature and obviously the native populace idea, right? And again, the 6. And again, 666, again, right? So he admitted a murder to this one. Right? So you see in there a pattern there, like, you know. Again, demonise the white idea. Right? Of course, how what do you call it? Convenient. He's dead. He's already dead. Right? That Psy-Op basically led to Baroness Lawrence, right? Doreen Lawrence become Baroness Lawrence. Right? Of course, murdering a racist attack, and you know, it might not have been racist anyway, you know, it might have just been, you understand what I mean? But it's like the demonisation of obviously the white man, and resulting in basically an import, a foreigner, right? becoming Baron or Baroness in the House of Lords, and therefore directly affecting Magna Carta law, right? Complete contravenance of Magna Carta law, right? And what about you? Yeah, again, right, this event took place in the Woolwich, as you know, so many of them took place in the Woolwich, right? Because it's the witch, and it's the pull the wool over the sheep's eyes, right? And again, right, when you have Stephen Lawrence, right, so you can also spell like the Stephen, obviously is that, right, even, right? So then law, right? So basically this was a psy-op that they to make the laws even, right, for imports and foreigners with the native populace, right, to make them even and law. And you see that going on to the days thing with Reform Party, where they are basically wanting to reform the place, the laws, the existing laws, to sort of make Indians and Pakistani and all that sort of equal under the British law, right? Equality under law, right? So it's like, it's all been about this. And ultimately, that obviously extincts the native populace, right? Which is obviously the purpose of the Count von Richard Coudenhove type of ideas, right? Blackheath Blue Coat School. And you see this, who was Stephen Lawrence? He was a normal young person who made the most of everyday opportunities. Stephen provides a positive role model of a life well lived, you know. It's like, where do you get that from, like, you know? Crazy. You can see it's just a propaganda job, right? Apparently this kid was absolute great or whatever, you know. But the nasty whites are all racist and evil, you see what I mean? And it's crazy. 22nd of April. Basically, 22 April, right, is 22-4, which is 6. 6 again. Equality, diversity and inclusion. You know, it's not working out that way, is it, really? So again, with number 6, it's back to hex. And basically, obviously had the one which was the Lee Rigsby one, right? Which was, you know, one of the greatest Psy-Ops ever, right? But you keep having them all the time, right? He has another one. Deal with the World Witch, and again 6 heavy. And the 14 is a 7, which is like, you know, Jewish Judaism and all that. Again, it grows a Ogabor, so you know, and not exact details of this, but it's most likely going to be 2 whites what done it, you know. Again, upside down 9 and 6 and 9 is the Royal Arch. Again, 7 ideas, right? Most likely going to turn into those 2 white men or something who did it, right? And of course, this one, which was you know, the red hand there thing. So we always have one in the World Witch, you know, every now and again. And 7th of April, 7, and then 3, 4, 7. So always 7s and 6. And if it's a Romford boy, it's probably going to be white, you know, it's going to be a white, right? this photo, the photo depicts a kid smiling in front of a dinosaur, right? And dinosaurs basically the extinction idea. European. I showed in a previous video, a dinosaur becomes European and could. Smiling away, deep as delight. You can see this right here's a code, right? There you are, right? There you are. You're a P, the D become P. Right? European, right? So basically means European. Right? Look at the funny thing here. This is the answer from the AI thing. European dinosaurs. Europe was home to a diverse range of dinosaurs. Towering sauropods. And they basically went extinct. They went extinct. So obviously this stuff's garbage, there was never such things walking around, right? Obviously, Steven Spielberg went to create that type of concept, what's it called, Jurassic Park and that. The Jews, Jurassic Park. These things are just basically like extensions of the sort of Garden of Eden serpent. Out of there, obviously, Talmud and that. Basically serpents with legs and arms and that walk upright, And of course, there's a double X again, right? So these things are just basically fake, that's right? Biggest Psy-Ops X run for a long time. And of course, there went an extinction event, E33, 33, and possibly to a massive asteroid impact, and possibly other environmental changes. It's the environmental changes which is going to do it. Not the bloody asteroid coming in. So this is basically outlining their plan of what they want to do. Loss of 75% of all species, including all non-avian. Well, avian is bird, right? Avian is bird. So basically there's your E extinction event. And there's your non-avian species, to anyone who isn't not. See, 75% of the world's population destined for that. To be wiped out, extincted. And of course, how do they do it with lies? Just simple as that signifies lying and stuff like that. Treacherousness, basically. It's a bit more knowledge about the name Matthew White. Matthew, known as Levi, evil, and was the tax collector one, despised, and social outcast. So like the idea of Matthew is like a hated idea. So again, you're talking about Matthew White, you're talking about the one hated and outcast and all that. So it's all Psy-Ops and stuff. Where Dorian Lawrence, E again, 33. If you look at the few photographs, you start to see a pattern where actually, it looks like a bloke. It looks like a bloke. So it's actually bloody mad. So, you're talking about pulling the wool over people's eyes. This is like I say, the ultimate Psy-Ops in the last 30 years or whatever. Look at the size of the jaw and all that.